and GSN Pakistan.
Thank you, Raza. I'm Asif Sana, representing Go8 Pakistan chapter. In my younger years, I was a marketing man. I worked for Philip Morris, and I was the worldwide brand lead manager of the biggest brand of that cigarette industry called Marlboro. So having sold Marlboros for 1.5 decades of my life out of the international headquarters in Switzerland, I went back to Pakistan after having become and converted into banking, aspired by a former prime minister sitting in front of me. I said, when you become banker, this is where you end up. I am in the wrong business of selling Marlboros. So I became a banker, went back to Pakistan, we bought a bank, and then I was the architect of selling that bank, which remains a landmark in the history of that country. I sit on one of the top 10 banks boards in Pakistan as chairman of the audit committee. I run a private equity fund today. And in about 7 years ago, when I sold my bank, I found what were the missing things in my life, and I found there was a very big gap that I had been a slave myself of the big multinational companies. And when I thought, by becoming an entrepreneur, I'm freeing myself, I realized that I have enslaved myself further. So after the sale of my bank, I said, I must give something back to the community. And what I have taken from the community, it is time to give back to them, and that's what focused my attention and efforts on philanthropy. Here, associated with Go8 Pakistan, in 2014, we started in Pakistan a concept of introducing the slavery-free word, and at that time we called ourselves Freedom Walk, and we held a function in March 2014 in Lahore. In 2015, it evolved into an organization called Eco Azadi. Azadi is an Urdu word which means freedom. We registered ourselves as a trust, and only last year, 2016, we have converted it into as chapter Go8 Pakistan. Pakistan, of all the countries, needs not only the eradication of physical and economic slavery, it also needs freedom from mental slavery. You must have all seen Pakistan in the media for wrong reasons. It's a country where the minority, a very small minority, has hijacked the majority, and that's why you see us in the media for the wrong reasons. Beyond the bounds of economic slavery, the mental slavery is a very big issue in Pakistan, which our government and law enforcement agencies, our national security institutions, including our army, are trying to fight. But we, as the members of the civil society, want to contribute towards this eradication of slavery from mind and the economic front of the country. We took inspiration from the 4 meetings of last year of GSN Go8, and we reduced it to the following action points in Pakistan: that we must end, number 1, modern-day slavery, human trafficking, child labor, bonded labor, slavery-free supply lines, education, and creating equal opportunity for all. How did we do that? Last year, Nabila, who is a celebrity in our country, used her brand name, which is an iconic brand name in her own industry, to galvanize the support of the opinion leaders in Pakistan, to bring them under one umbrella, and then gathered, interviewed, shortlisted, and selected the best of the NGOs which are already working for slavery-related issues to free the slavery in supply lines. Then, last month in January, the first action point of 2016 was to get these together in Karachi, where Raza Jafar also kindly participated to give them the overall view and the last year's performance of this group, that how this idea has evolved and what is the umbrella concept of this slavery-free movement. Nabila gathered companies like L'Oreal, Unilever, so there were business leaders there. There was media there. There were opinion leaders, some of the leading organizations from the education and from the Brooklyn slavery-free movements were there. They all gathered together in the Marriott Hotel in Karachi, and Nabila, who had done this fundamental and basic work, will represent. Without taking any further, I will ask Nabila to explain what we achieved in the January of 2017 in introducing the action plan of Goal 8 Pakistan chapter.
Hello, thank you, Asif, for such a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Monsignor Sanchez, Bishop Redfern, and Raza Jafar for hosting us and putting together this wonderful, like-minded group of people. Asif has already introduced me. I'm Nabila, and I've been working in the fashion industry for the past 3 decades. I worked closely with the media industry, and I represent Pakistan on a number of national and international forums to chase the SDGs, especially Goal 8. One of my first initiatives at a personal level is with the help of Ronnie Hong. We are putting the Freedom Seal on my soon-to-be-launched makeup line. By doing so, we verify the ethical practice in the manufacturing process, making this a sustainable product. To take this approach further, we will soon hold workshops in Pakistan to educate the fashion councils to embrace similar practices in their manufacturing and supply line. As Mr. Asif suggested, one of the, being one of the founder Goal members, Goal 8 members of Pakistan chapter, we identified and authenticated some of the organizations who have been working on Goal 8 themes in their own capacity for decades. One of their substantial achievements is recently getting, sorry, I don't want to, one of the substantial achievements is recently getting a bill passed against employment of children under the age of 14 years. This is very recent and a very big achievement for us. These organizations include, but are not limited to, LEF, which is Labor Education Foundation, working on introducing education to the brick kiln workers; Green Rural Development, which is providing legal support in freeing bonded labor. To date, they have freed more than 30,000 of them. Indus Resource Center, which is providing basic and skill education. Hunar Foundation, again, providing vocational training for underprivileged. Madadgar, which is a child protection helpline organization and fighting human trafficking. HomeNet Pakistan, which is supporting the domestic workers. GOD Pakistan, which is partners with Kailash Satyarthi on human trafficking at a very grassroots level. We are helping them to scale their efforts in this regard, and your help and support will be highly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really wanted to share all that you guys are doing and the real action of it on the ground with all our colleagues. Would you have anything to say? Would you like to say anything about GSN Pakistan? Anybody has a suggestion or question on GSN Pakistan? Or will you have any comments, Monsignor Sanchez?
First of all, thank you. Is it on? Yeah. Thank you, because it's a very significant step from this, as Raza says, 30,000 feet above view to getting some perch on the ground. And I just wanted to emphasize the words you finished with about you've gathered all these people, all these perspectives as we do, and your task was to scale up so that they all, by being part of something bigger, more connected, got more confidence, more leverage, more purchase. And the second thing I'd just like to congratulate you on is that we mustn't lose sight of the importance of the legal frameworks in our countries, where many of these things are illegal, but the laws are so hidden in all kinds of legislation that was designed for other things that we do need to focus on child labour, exploitation at work and things in a much more specific way to fight back against the crime. And that's an enormous achievement that you're, in such a short time, making steps in that direction. So thank you.
One experience that I would like to share with the group in that respect of the comment that you have just made. You will face in all countries where you start this activity a lot of legal barriers, social barriers, economic barriers, financial barriers. The reason of giving you brief history of how we started in 2014 and today we have a registered entity which is working for slavery-free and working against the human trafficking is because we had legwork done since 2014. If we had started this action point in 2017, it would take at least a year and a half of legal formalities. So the experience I can share with all my colleagues here is that if you have any intention to start an action plan, start it now. It takes, even with the most efficient governments and the most efficient societies, it takes more than a year to get the legal registration, operating licenses, getting a board together, getting a team of action takers. You need managers to run it. You need workers. You need volunteers. So there's a whole lot of detail that Nabila and I have not shared. And above all, it will need a lot of your time and commitment. Those of us who want to start today will see that the results will start coming earliest in a year's time. So those of us who want to start should start now.
No, also, I want to thank for this very nice initiative. And of course, this is very important that in each country we can operate the instrument more appropriated. And we need to have a network in the basis of the cell. And each country can have one cell or more, and to know exactly the problems of each country or this part of the country, and to offer adequate solutions for the problem. Because we need to be very awareness about the concrete form, for example, that are responsible for the climate change, or are responsible for the new form of slaves, in the forced labor, prostitution, traffic on organs, and make some conclusion in the meetings to specify these problems concretely, what is the magnitude and the quantity of the problem, and what could be the solution. This is very important, because in the contrary, are words, very important words, but not enough. The Romans say, verba volant, scripta manet. And I think this is very important. That is to say, the words not are solidity. The things that we write are more solid. And we need to have a concretely conclusion in each meeting, to have statements adequate to describe the situation and to have proposals. Thank you.